Is there anything else you'd like the court to know?
There was one instance where we were actually helping them move to one of the houses.
Who's them?
We were helping Nicholas and Brittany. And while we were moving the stuff, Brittany was carrying a box in front of her, and she was in front of us, and she tripped and fell forward. As Nicholas tried to help her, she actually got kind of aggressive and pushed him back. All he did was kind of move back, and we just kind of like said, you know what, let her cool down. That's one thing that I did notice that was kind of odd or awkward.
Have you ever noticed him in any aggressive or violent interactions with anyone?
I haven't. Everybody, they hang along with him. It's like, no, I don't know how you could hate him or anything, because he's always friendly. He's always willing to help everybody.
You understand he's charged with choking Brittany?
Yes, I do.
And that's a felony offense?
Yes, I do.
I just don't believe what he's being accused of. He's never demonstrated any violence to me. I've never seen him raise his temper. I've never seen him raise his voice. It just seems completely out of character to me.
All right, we're on the record in 2023 CR 7339, State of Texas versus Nicholas Corpus. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Zach Dunn for the state.
Defense.
Lyndon Corley for Mr. Corpus.
And are you Mr. Corpus?
Yes, Your Honor. I'm Nicholas Isaiah Corpus.
All right, you entered a plea of no contest on October 16th. And the court requested the criminal history because otherwise PSIs are taking a long time because there are a lot.
Yes, Your Honor.
And according to the plea bargain agreement, there's to be a cap of 7 years, and the state is silent on your application. There's an affirmative finding and no contact with Brittany Flores. All right, the court has had a chance to review the criminal history. Defense, anything you want to say on behalf of your client or any witnesses?
Yes, Judge, I do have some witnesses.
Yes, call your first witness.
Thank you. I can call Alberto Rodriguez.
All right, Mr. Rodriguez, can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, you can lower your hand. Could you state your name for the record?
Alberto Rodriguez.
All right, defense.
Thank you, Judge. Just step up for a second here. Okay. Alberto, how do you know Nicholas?
He's my neighbor. Been my neighbor for 19 years and good friend.
How old was he when you first met him?
He was about 15 years old when they first moved in there.
And you've known him for quite a long time for his life.
I have.
All right. And how did you first meet him?
It's a kind of a funny story. When they first moved in, Nick was outside mowing the lawn, and sticks in my mind because I came out and I was going to start mowing my lawn too or something, and he comes over and says, "Hey, I'll do your yard for $5." And I thought, $5? What's going on? And I said, "No, that's okay." Not because I didn't want him to do it, but because I said, his parents are probably going to think I'm a jerk because I'm letting him do my big yard for $5. So that's kind of how we started our relationship.
So you've known him into his adulthood, correct?
I'm sorry?
You've known him into his adulthood, right?
Yes.
You told me he was kind of like a grandson to you. Would that be accurate?
That's how I see him. Yeah.
All right. So how do you see him interacting as he's lived there in the neighborhood?
He's younger than most of us. Our neighborhood is mostly semi-retired or retired, so he's the youngest probably person in the block. But he's never had any problems with anybody that I know of because he gets along pretty much with everybody that I see him with.
Okay, so you also mentioned that he offers to help you a lot, the neighbors.
He does. Anytime I'm doing something, he comes out there and wants to, you need help, or can I help you? If you need anything, let me know. One time I bought a TV, and it was a big old TV, and I was trying to carry it in the house, and he comes out there and says, "Hey, let me help you. Let's be carried in the house," and everything. So that kind of stuff, and putting out Christmas decorations. Even my wife even tells him, "Nick, if you see Albert out there, don't let him get on a ladder. Call me." I said, "Okay."
All right, and so you've also seen him helping other friends.
Yes, his friends come over often. and he offers to help everybody. So he says his friends come over a lot to have their car worked on because he's a pretty good mechanic and a little jack of all trades kind of. And they come and get their cars fixed all the time, and he does it quite often. Quite often, he works on his own cars. He likes to, work on cars and stuff. So they come over. He's got a little computer and stuff. Hooks it up and tells them what's wrong and helps them fix it.
Just outside of helping people, you also have a lot of talks with him. Is that right?
Yes, because growing up, it's kind of hard, and we just sit out there, and talk about life and different things that that are going on with him. His jobs and stuff like that.
Asking for advice.
Yes, and I try to give as best as I know through my own experiences.
And today we talked about why he's here, that he is charged with a felony choking family violence with his girlfriend.
Yes.
Okay. And so we're here today asking the judge to not send him to prison and to allow him to have deferred so he wouldn't be a convicted felon.
That's right.
Why do you think that he's lived his life, so he deserves to have that chance?
Because like I say, he's helpful. He's a good kid in my eyes. I've never seen anything wrong. He's always polite, always says hello, how you doing, and what's going on, and stuff like that. So I don't see the benefit of him having to go to jail over. I don't know the circumstances completely of whatever happened, only what I hear. But I know Nick, and I think he would do good. He's a good kid.
But you say you don't know the circumstances, but we've talked about the case, right?
Yes, we did.
So you understand that the allegation is that he choked his girlfriend, Brittany, multiple times, on and off over a 30-minute period is the allegation.
Uh-huh.
On and off for a few minutes in 10 or 15, intervals. That's what she's accused him of.
Yes.
And that saying that he hit her eye. That she had a black eye.
Correct.
All right. And so you're aware of all the allegations.
I am.
And you still think that he deserves to have a chance for deferred?
Yes, ma'am, I still do. To say that, I think Nick is still a good person inside, and I think he would do well still.
I pass the witness.
Nothing from the state.
All right, thank you. Call your next witness.
That's a cool Tennessee. Thank you.
If you're finding this story captivating, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more gripping true crime content. Your support means a lot. Thank you.
Renee Yes, I know I'm not saying that correctly.
All right, can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
My name is Rene Covarrubias.
Can you spell your last name for the court?
It's Covarrubias.
IAS?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And how do you know Nicholas?
Nicholas has been my neighbor for the past 3 years. He's been a real good friend.
Okay. And can you tell the court a little bit about his interactions in the neighborhood and with you?
He's real friendly with everybody. I don't know anybody who has any problem with him. It's like he's always willing to help everybody. Been times where I've been working on my cars. I don't even call him or anything. He'd be passing by, he stops and gives me wrenches or whatever. He starts working on cars with me. I've had him at my house for barbecues and stuff, and never had any problems with him. He's always friendly like with everybody.
Okay. And so his mom also lives there with him. Is that correct? Is his mom?
Yes.
Okay. And can you know a little bit about his mom and her situation? Can you tell the court about that?
Pretty much, she has cancer, so he pretty much spends his day to helping her with everything she needs. So pretty much that's his. It's a care provider, pretty much, almost.
Okay. And he also is a pet owner.
He has a Shar-Pei that's actually paralyzed, and he actually manually has to help the dog so he could relieve himself and stuff. And pretty much that's almost like his kid, pretty much.
And so he helps other people in the neighborhood as well. Is that right? You can express that.
Yes. doesn't matter what job it is or if it's dirty or not, he's always willing to go, and without you even asking him, he starts helping out and everybody. And it doesn't matter where it is. If he has to drive somewhere else and they help you, he'll do it. It's like, with nothing in return. Pretty much that's what he is.
Is there anything else you'd like the court to know?
There was one instance where we were actually helping them move to one of the houses.
Who's them?
We were helping Nicholas and Brittany. And while we were moving the stuff, Brittany was carrying a box in front of her, and she was in front of us, and she tripped and fell forward. As Nicholas tried to help her, she actually got kind of aggressive and pushed him back. All he did was kind of move back, and we just kind of like said, you know what, let her cool down. That's one thing that I did notice that was kind of odd or awkward.
Have you ever noticed him in any aggressive or violent
I haven't.
interactions with anyone?
I haven't. Everybody, they hang along with him. It's like, no, I don't know how you could hate him or anything, because he's always friendly. He's always willing to help everybody.
You understand he's charged with
Yes, I
choking
do.
Brittany,
Yes, I do.
and that's a felony offense.
Yes, I do.
And we talked about the circumstances of what exactly she alleged happened. Is that right?
Yes, but it just doesn't seem like it's in his character. He's never been aggressive towards anybody.
And you understand that we're asking the judge not to send him to prison, but to give him an opportunity at deferred, which would save him from being a convicted felon.
Yes, I am.
Why do you think the judge should take a chance on him?
Because he's a real good neighbor. He's always willing to help everybody. And it's like I said, it's not one of those where he's helping people because he expects to get paid or anything. He's out there just to help everybody. He goes to church. He goes everything. That's why when they told me about this, it just seems so out of character.
I pass the witness.
No questions, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. You may call your next witness.
Thank you, Judge. And my final witness is Eduardo Garcia.
All right, can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you give be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Eduardo Garcia.
Defense.
Thank you, Judge. Eduardo, how do you know Nicholas?
I've known Nick for 13 years. I met him first at the gym.
Okay, and so you continued a friendship from that?
Yes, ma'am. We've continued a friendship for the past 13 years. We've also attended church together. I invited him on an Acts retreat to St. Paul's, and he went. And since then, he has become a member of the Armor of God Society at St. Paul's. We meet on Wednesdays and Saturday mornings.
Okay, and what is that group?
So if you've been on an Acts retreat, or if you just want to get closer to God, we invite men to congregate to praise and worship and just honor God.
And so how long has he been participating in that?
The Armor of God meetings, probably 8 months, 9 months, somewhere in there.
And have you ever seen him have interactions with people that are confrontational, aggressive, or violent?
No, ma'am.
You also said that when we were talking that you believe he would be able to be successful at probation. Why did you feel that?
To me, he's demonstrated character, consistency. I own a construction business, and Nick has worked several jobs for me. Never let me down on one of the jobs. So I feel he's consistent.
So he's made commitments to you and always followed through?
Yes, ma'am.
Is there anything else you'd like the judge to know?
I just don't believe what he's being accused of. He's never demonstrated any violence to me. I've never seen him raise his temper. I've never seen him raise his voice. It just seems completely out of character to me.
And we've discussed the charge and what the allegations are.
Yes, ma'am.
Detailed, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Why do you think the judge should take a chance on him and allow him to have a chance at deferred instead of convicting him or sending him to prison?
Nick is a good guy. He, like I said, has never let me down. I know he won't let you down. He's just distributed or been really good character and a really good guy.
I'd pass the witness.
Any questions?
Just 2 questions, Your Honor. Sir, were you aware that the defendant's statements on scene were that she punched herself in the face?
Was I aware of this?
Were you aware of that statement?
I believe you told me yes.
That he had said she punched herself in the face?
No, I did not know that.
You didn't know that?
No.
And were you aware that she wasn't able to open up her swollen eye for over a week after the incident? Were you aware of that?
No, sir.
No further questions.
No questions, Your
All
Honor.
right, thank you.
Thank you. I don't have any further witnesses, Judge, just argument.
All right.
If you're still with us, make sure to like and subscribe to keep up with more shocking true crime stories. Your support helps us bring these stories to light. Don't miss out on what's next.
The state is silent. The court will hear argument.
Thank you, Judge. Judge, and just to bring your attention, you are aware that my client did plead no contest. I know a lot of people plead no contest just because their attorneys tell them, but really what I explain to my clients is what no contest means is I don't agree with this, but I'm not going to fight about it. And we also worked in conjunction with the prosecutor in his plea paperwork. We took out the statement saying that everything was true and correct because we don't necessarily agree with the allegations. But my client decided that he would rather go forward with you, Judge, rather than go into a trial because he does not want to risk a felony conviction. He very much wanted to apply for deferred. As you see on his criminal history, the only thing he's ever had on it was a marijuana charge, which was deferred dismissed. So he successfully completed that probation. And that was when he was much younger. He has not had any other drug cases or any other kind of cases until this allegation came about. And so, Judge, what I wanted to do, the reason why we wanted to have these witnesses is because I wanted to put in front of you not just a defendant who is charged with a felony choking case. I wanted you to see the man that he has been and the way he's lived his life. And I understand there's a statement and the complainant, Brittany, have made many statements. I'm hoping, based on his history, based on the way he has lived his life, that although there is this one incident, that you'll give him this one opportunity to do deferred. I think that he does deserve it. Judge, and I, based on my experience with him and all the conversations I've had with the people that know him, I do believe he will be successful. He was certainly successful before, and I do believe he will still be successful if you'll give him an opportunity to not have a felony conviction, which will stop him from having the good jobs that he's had. It will cause so many problems, and I don't think that's the best for the community. I know that you can put whatever conditions that you feel would be safe. The only firearm that he had there was at the house was left with the complainant, Brittany, and we don't really know what happened to that. We got word from the family that they had turned it into SAPD. We can't get any confirmation on that. He is not in possession of any firearms. He has no intention of being in possession of any firearms. I did note on the medical issues, I just wanted to make the court aware. She has said that she's had ongoing headaches besides the emotional difficulties that she described, the physical problems, and that she's gone to clinics and such and has spent some money. She was prior in an accident where she went through the windshield, and she's always had the headaches since then and the physical problems. So whether or not anything else contributed, Judge, I just thought the court should know that we're not opposed to paying restitution if the judge gives them an opportunity to do the deferral of probation, to take care of whatever's needed. I'm sure she has receipts and that sort of thing. Judge, I'll just implore you to please give this man a chance to not be a convicted felon. I don't think you'll regret it.
All right. So what I can tell you, Mr. Corpus, is you're not going to be leaving the courtroom today. Either you're going to prison, or either I'm placing you on probation and you're going to ISF. So I have some questions.
It's a drug treatment.
All right. Can you raise your right hand for me? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I swear.
All right. You can lower your hand. What happened that day?
So that day, I came home from work.
And just so you know, if you veer off and you are not truthful, the state, even though they're silent, they'll get a chance to ask questions of you. So what happened that day?
So I worked all day. I got home about 7:30, 8 o'clock in the evening. I started cutting the grass at our new home that we had. I was outside. I had my music on. I had bought a 6-pack of beer for me, 6-pack of beer for Brittany. I was waiting for her to get home so that we can go out and buy dinner together. She got home, and normally what I do is that I'm the cooker. I cook and I wash dishes, and that's my job while she studies, because she's currently going to school. Well, she came home in a very bad mood. She asked what was her dinner. I didn't cook it because I was tired and I wanted to buy us dinner. She went inside, slammed the door. I stayed outside listening to my music. I went inside a little while later. I said, what would she like for dinner? She said she didn't want no more dinner. I said, okay, I'm gonna go back outside. I went outside and I started drinking my beer. After I drank one beer, I went back in, said, baby, I would like to cook you dinner. I'm sorry I didn't cook it. Said, no, this, and that. She just started acting irate. She normally does. She has an anger issue that I've been dealing with it for the past 13 years, being with Brittany. About 8 to 10 years for her living with being my mother, and the rest with us going to different apartments and different houses together. So I broke up with her. I got tired of the way she treats me.
No. We're back to that night because you didn't break up with her that night, did you?
I broke up with her that night.
All right.
And that's where the argument started because we had just purchased the house and our new vehicles together. So I ended up leaving her with the mortgage.
No. When you say you broke up with her that night, what did you say?
That I'm leaving you. I'm packing my things and I'm taking my dogs with me.
Okay.
And I'm leaving. And she's going to have to pay for the house herself, the cars herself, because she states so much that it's her house, they're her cars. So I left her with it. And that's where she wouldn't let me pack my things. I was putting my clothes in my bags, packing up my dog's wheelchair, packing up my animals, their beds. And that's when she kept pulling me back, grabbing my clothes, throwing my bag on the floor. When I would try to leave, she ended up tackling me on the sofa. The rest of the round, got up, got tired of her hitting me. I walked out the door. I said, I'm going to call the cops on you. I'm tired of you. This is the last time that you hit me. We're literally fed up with it.
Did you call the cops?
I shouldn't have opened my mouth because when I went outside to call the police, I dialed 911. And I didn't want to ruin her life because I know she has a very good career. So I decided not to. But where I messed up is that I told her I was going to call the cops and they were going to take away her concealed handgun license for assaulting me. So I decided not to. I called my mother, told her what happened. She told me just to get my things and leave. I said, no, I can't leave. I drink a beer already, so I'm not going to drink and drive. I'm going to wait here till the morning. I'm going to sleep outside in the porch with my dogs, and I'll leave in the morning. I'll go to your house. About an hour or two later, the police get there, and I was still outside on the porch with my dogs, and she was inside screaming, yelling, just acting insane. And then they told me that they're there for me, not for her.
Okay. So how did her eye get swollen?
So one thing that I have been dealing with for years already with her is she's a self-inflicting kind of person.
So how did her eye get swollen?
So I would say that she was inside slapping herself, hitting herself. I can't say punching or slapping because I wasn't there.
So are you saying that you never hit her, you never choked her? Because that's what we're here for.
Yes, ma'am, I do understand this. And it is something that I've been dealing with for years with her mental issues. With
My question is,
harm.
Are you saying that you didn't hit her? Yes or no?
I am saying that I did not hit her, Your Honor.
Are you saying that you choked her? Yes or no?
No, Your Honor.
Well, it sounds like he should be in a jury trial.
Judge, we discussed that. But why did you not, may I ask him some questions, Judge? Sure. Why did you choose not to go to trial?
I chose not to go to trial because I don't think anybody's going to believe me. And 9 times out of 10, when you hear about something like this, normally you take the woman's side and you don't never believe the man.
Oh, I listen. Let me stop you right there.
I'm not saying you yourself.
Okay.
I
Because
apologize.
everybody will tell you, I evaluate everything.
I apologize saying you.
Okay.
Judge, we were asking why he didn't want to go to trial. So he's referring to the jury. He decided to go in front of you because, well, I've discussed that you do listen.
Okay.
Okay.
I didn't want a conviction on my record because of my good jobs that I've had throughout my career. I've been an out-of-body technician. I've also been an electrical engineer working for the San Antonio State Hospital for the past 6 years. I paint cars. I'm also a mechanic. You name it, I can probably do it all. I've had all kinds of trades under my belt. And with this conviction, it would make it to where I probably wouldn't be able to get a good, decent job anymore or actually work for the state ever again if I were to become a convicted felon.
And Judge, we discussed the difference between getting a conviction and having deferred, and that the only opportunity for him to have deferred would be to waive his right to a jury trial and go to the judge. I do have some additional questions.
Sure.
You're aware that Brittany has stated that she doesn't feel safe anywhere,
Yes, ma'am, I am aware.
but there have been a couple of occasions when she's come over to your house where you're living with your mom. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
What was the first occasion?
Objection relevance. This is post date of incident, correct? The question you just asked is post incident.
It is, however, since the
All
judge.
right, that'll be overruled. You can answer the
Thank you,
question.
Judge. I'm sorry. Can you tell us about the first occasion?
Yes, ma'am. About 6 days after I was released, give or take a few days, I was there at my mother's house, and
What were you doing?
I was outside. I just got home from my sister's house. She lives a block away. She cooked me dinner, and I ate dinner. It was about 9:30 at night by the time I got home. She lives 1 block away from my mother's. I got home, and she was parked outside my house, and she had asked me to get back with her, and that if I did, that she wouldn't press charges. And as she was doing that, I took out my cell phone, and I started recording her and her car and her license plate with her voice in there. I wasn't able to catch what she was saying because by the time I started recording her, she started leaving.
And did you make a report?
And I made the police report, and they showed the video to the officer, and he actually recorded it on his body camera with my phone in his body camera.
Okay.
And then
The second event?
2 weeks ago, I was outside my mother's house cutting grass, and she ended up passing by again and stopped to see how I was doing. She said, "Oh, you're cutting grass, huh?"
And what did you do?
I made their police report, and I took down her license plate number, and they came and they gave me a case number and told me just to relay it whenever it came down to it.
Have you, since this case, reached out to her at all?
No, ma'am, I have not.
And do you have any firearms in your possession?
No, ma'am, I have 0 firearms in my possession.
You had 1 firearm at the time of the incident. What happened to that?
That firearm at the incident, I left it there with Brittany, and my
So do
mother.
you know what happened to it with personal knowledge?
I do not know.
What did your mother told you something. What did she tell you?
When my mother went to pick up my paralyzed animal, her mother was at the door
Brittany's mother?
yes, along with Brittany herself, and they told my mom that they turned in my firearm to SAPD.
Have you been able to confirm that with the SAPD?
No, ma'am, I've been calling property, but I haven't been able to get an answer.
And why did you want to know? What were you worried about?
I'm worried about what actually happened to it because she has a very dysfunctional family, drug addict brothers and sisters, and I just can't trust those people when they're the kind of people that they are.
And was the gun registered in your name?
It is registered under my name, yes, ma'am.
And so you just wanted to make sure it was in safe hands?
That's it. I just want to make sure they actually turned it in because I don't want them to turn around and use it and it go against me, and I don't want to get in trouble for something that happened like that.
Thank you. I pass the witness.
Any questions?
Yes, Your Honor. If I may just bifurcate my questions into 2 separate fact inquiries. Defense kind of opened it up, so we'll talk about post date of incident. You've conferred with your attorney, correct, and gone over defenses you can provide, and she's gone over the evidence with you, correct?
Yes.
And are you aware that the complainant told the DA's office that she actually believed this was attempted murder and that you threatened to stab her and shoot her that night? Were you aware that she told the DA's office that?
Yes, that's what I actually had on
Yes,
my
that's perfect.
protection
No,
order.
I appreciate you answering that. Thank
Judge, he can answer the question.
All right, so everyone, just answer questions. Everybody calm down. I have listened to everything. I read the reports. So just answer, let him answer, and we'll go from there.
Okay, you can give your full answer now to that question.
Can you ask me the question one more time?
I'm happy to move on to the next one.
Judge, I'd like him to have an opportunity to answer the question.
All right, so ask your question, counsel.
The same one, Your Honor.
You can either ask the same one or you can ask the next one.
I'll ask the next one. Thank you, Judge. Were you aware that as recently as October 6, 2023, the complainant has told us that she still has safety concerns as they relate to you?
I'm not aware because I'm not in contact with her at all, in what means whatsoever. October 6th was just a month ago. And no, I'm not aware.
You recently just spoke on the record about she basically tackled you on the couch and sofa. You actually had an opportunity to speak with police that night, correct?
Yes, sir.
And does it surprise you that the word sofa or couch is nowhere mentioned in the entirety of her police report?
It does not surprise me.
The night began, again, just speaking to facts, the night began with you drinking beers with the victim's brother. Is that correct?
No, I didn't.
Okay. How did the night begin?
The night began with me getting home that night and me not cooking dinner because I was tired. But I started cutting grass instead, and I was waiting for her to get home so we can buy dinner.
Does it surprise you that you told officers that the night started because you guys were drinking beers together and he left because he was crazy just like her? Do you remember saying that to officers?
No, I don't.
Okay. Yeah. Do you remember saying that when the complainant got home, she started, quote, just hitting herself in the face for no reason? Do you remember saying that to officers?
I do remember that.
Do you remember calling her a psycho?
Yes.
Do you remember saying that you never hit her?
Yes.
Do you remember saying that you had no reason why her eye was swollen to such a great extent that she actually couldn't even open it? After you had previously said that she punched herself in the face. Number kind of those conflicting accounts.
See, like, I can't understand why you're trying.
So let me break it down. Absolutely. First, you told officers that she started just punching herself in the face for no reason. Then you said you had no idea why her eye was swollen. Do you have any recollection as to why you gave conflicting accounts?
Because she started doing it when I had told her that I'm going to call the police on her and have them take away her concealed handgun license for assaulting.
And then do you remember the officers noting that they believed you were intoxicated, even though you just spoke to only having one beer?
Well, no, actually, I told the officers I had that one beer, and when I went outside on the porch, I started drinking myself to sleep on a concrete porch. So I can stay home, wake up the next morning, pack up my things, and go to my mother's house.
So does it surprise you that both the victim and the officer on scene believed you to be drunk that night?
Well, like I said, I started drinking myself to sleep on the concrete porch. So I was not inebriated. It was a 6-pack. I believe I was on beer number 4 or 5.
No further questions, Your Honor.
No further questions, Judge.
All right. Are you employed?
Yes, ma'am. I work for Dr. Richard Kimball, Hinojosa, for Richard's Electric.
Mhm.
But one thing that's going to cause an issue is that he's moving to West Virginia. So I'm going to need to find another place of employment, in which I was hoping that my ex-brother and friend, Mr. Danny Garcia, would hopefully be able to employ me with this company.
All right. This is what the court is going to do. There's an affirmative finding of family violence. There's to be no contact with Brittany Flores. 10 years deferred adjudication. The BIPP course. Proof of employment within 30 days of release. There's to be no harmful or injurious. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider with minors. Regular reporting by Zoom or in person. GPS partial for employment until further notice. There's to be field visits 1 time per month for 3 months. Regular UAs. TAP evaluation while in custody. Follow all recommendations from TAP. What's the wait time for ISF cognitive?
Your Honor, it's about 40 days.
All right. And he is to be ISF cognitive track. Probation, is there anything else? Going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
I understand, Your Honor.
All right. You are not to have any contact with her. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am. I fully understand.
Your relationship with her is over. She doesn't want to be with you. You've informed the court you do not want to be with her. Do you understand?
I understand.
There's to be no contact with her through third parties. There's to be no contact with her mother, her relatives, or anyone that she knows. If you see her and if she's at the HEB, you need to leave the HEB. You understand? If you see her walking on the sidewalk, you need to go in the opposite direction. Do you understand?
I understand.
There's to be no card sent to her saying, I'm sorry. There's to be no flowers for old time's sake. It is as if you do not know her. If you have contact with her, you're looking at potentially 10 years in the prison. Do you understand?
I understand, Your Honor.
All right. Good luck to you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes.
This wasn't a case of he said, she said. It was a case of who the court believed more and what kind of future they were willing to risk on one man's word. Judge Boyd may have offered Nicholas a second chance, but it came with walls that don't come down easily. And while no jail time was handed out that day, the real sentence was written in the limitations that will follow Nicholas for years. So, what do you think? Was justice served, or did this case reveal a deeper flaw in how courts handle domestic violence allegations? Let us know in the comments. Thank you for joining us in uncovering the chilling details of this case. If this story has left you disturbed or reflective, please share your thoughts and reflections. Remember to like, subscribe, and stay with us as we continue to explore the stories that reveal the darkest sides of human behavior. Together, we keep these lessons alive, ensuring the voices of victims are never forgotten. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe or follow.